Let me just say this. So today's episode might shift your mindset. I am going to make this promise that if you stick around, you're going to gain a lot from this, especially if you're struggling with mental health issues. Because my guest today is my brother, Dr. Gabe Farias. He's a mental performance coach who's worked directly with police. You can just imagine how crazy that is for the mental health, right? Police, fire, military, tactical units, and over 6 years of experience. He's got his doctorate in sports performance psychology, so he knows a thing or two about injuries and shit, right? When it comes to mental health. So he's been helping high performers and from first responders to everyday men learn how it is to win that mental game. Because in the day, that's number one is to check if your head is a head on straight, right? So, but what makes this episode powerful is this: while he was helping others perform under pressure, he was fighting his own battles behind the scenes, trying to stay strong for everyone else while he was trying to take care of himself. Not many people can admit that. So the first step is to literally just say, "Hey, something's fucking wrong," right? So by the end of this episode, you'll know how to build real mental resilience, not fake toughness, but clarity, control, and peace under pressure. You'll hear how Gabe overcame his own struggles while coaching others through theirs, and you'll walk away with tools to master your own mindset. Whether you're behind the chair, behind the badge, or just trying to make sense of everything in life, right? So, welcome back. This is the Built for More podcast, and let's get into it. So, I'm gonna start off with introducing yourself, Gabe. So,
Oh yeah, my name is Dr. Gabe Farias. I'm a mental performance specialist. Been working in tactical population for just over 6 years now. Worked with law enforcement for the past year and 8, almost 9 months. Worked with Phoenix Police Department. Worked directly within their wellness unit.
it's dope.
And yeah, before that, 4+ years working with the United States Army all over Fort Dix, Fort Bliss, Fort Hood, Camp Parks, DLI, a lot of different areas, working with soldiers. Worked with thousands of soldiers across the country. Yeah, that's a big part of what I've done in the
That's
past
dope.
6 years.
That's dope. So, I mean, I've known you for a while now, and obviously I know a thing or two about you. So you did the Air Force too, right?
Yes, I actually I'm a 7-year Air Force veteran, but also I just re-enlisted this year back in March.
Hey, thanks for your contribution to this country, man.
Absolutely.
So, what originally got you into mental performance coaching? Because, I mean, I see the value in it, and I feel like a lot of people don't know about enough to ask questions because either they're scared or they think they're quote unquote. I mean, I'm sure you see it all the time, especially working with men, right? So like, what essentially got you started with mental performance coaching?
Yeah, dude. So I'll bring it back to 2017, 2018 timeframe. I had a buddy in the Air Force that I had just finished my bachelor's in psychology, and he's like, "Hey, he's like, check out this university. I just finished my master's."
Dope.
He's like, they got some good programs there, so I checked it out, and they had a degree in performance psychology, and I was like, what's performance psychology? So I looked into it a little bit deeper, and it was a blend of that psychological aspect of performance, but also just in general psychology, right? So it was like that sport, that business, that entrepreneur side of like working with just overall performance and then tying the psychological aspect to that. So I went into it, and I absolutely loved the first 3 months of it. And I was like, this is for me. On top of that, I had been working as a mental health worker at a company in Gilroy, and I injured myself on the job, and I had sustained 2 ligament rips to my left ankle. I was playing basketball with the kids, and that was huge. It was actually, I sustained that injury 5 days after I started.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah, 5 days after I started my program.
Damn.
And so it was like interesting because I needed to I didn't need to, but I was like, okay, I'm going through this program. How can I utilize the skills that I'm being taught?
Of course, yeah.
To actually bring myself back to.
It's like a double whammy, right? So like, you got the job for what you wanted to do, which was mental performance coaching, and then you get hurt, and then it's like, okay, now I have to use these skills that I'm preaching to actually do the job, right? Especially for yourself, So like, what is one thing do you feel like a lot of people get wrong about mental performance coaching? Because a lot of people hear that and they think, oh, therapy, right?
Yeah.
Or I mean, is it similar to therapy?
It's very close. So the Association for Applied Sports Psychology just put out a spectrum that literally puts the difference between clinical side and mental performance. Mental performance is strictly performance enhancement. I'm going to take you from where you are, and I'm going to give you the tools from a proactive standpoint to increase your performance.
I love that.
Whether that's mindset, self-talk, concentration skills, mental cues, whatever that may be, visualization, imagery, I'm going to take you from where you are and I'm going to enhance your performance from there. Clinical side is actually a regression. Someone's dealing with chronic anxiety. They're dealing with depression. They're dealing with PTSD. That's a lot more clinical. And my realm doesn't fall in that.
Okay.
Right. So that's the difference between the two.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because like I've told a few people what you do, and especially like I'm a barber, so I see a lot of men that come to me, either athletes or stuff like that. And they think it's they're like, no, well, no. So essentially, you're helping athletes battle those hurdles that they're battling inside their head or whatever, right? Whether it be doubt, whether it be lost shit. I didn't make. I'm like I feel like I'm not getting any better. I'm not getting anywhere, and this is where you come in, right?
Yeah. So I always like to say this too. It's not considered quotes, air quotes, therapy, but it can be considered therapeutic. The work that I do
100%,
can be
yeah.
therapeutic. So if I teach somebody how to breathe properly, for example,
That's huge,
just diaphragmatic breathing. If I teach them how to properly use diaphragmatic breathing, they can use that throughout daily life. Literally, not just in their performance, but
it's
they can
huge,
use it throughout daily life.
And I'm not gonna lie, like I've used that before, the whole breathing technique. I mean, I'll forget about it because I mean, shoot, like running a business and like if I'm tying it to relating to like everything, like if I'm tying it to how I'm thinking it is like I'm running a business. I finally opened up a shop here in town. I finally year in, and like there's a lot of mental hurdles that I'm going through.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's huge that you're teaching athletes this because it really does start in the head, dude.
Yeah, it's a big part of it.
It's a huge part of it. It could either make you or break you, dude. If I'm being real with you,
Yeah, it's like I mean, a lot of people talk about the importance between if we're talking about athletes, like you just mentioned athletes, you talk about the importance of the physical side of going out there and doing athletic play. It's just as important to look at the mental side, right? Because so and so can go out there and make a play, but it could be they could have made a mistake, right? It could have been a football player, making a mistake on the field. That mistake specifically, if we just talk about mistakes in general, how do they actually? How much do you end up ruminating on them? You go to sleep at night and you end up thinking about your past day. That's ruminating the earlier of your day, the things you have to do tomorrow. We're ruminating on things. You could be ruminating on stress that's affected you from days before, and that's a mental thing.
It's a huge mental thing, especially like. I mean, like if I'm tying it to entrepreneurship and how I'm relating to that is like, I'll make a certain mistake or I'll finally reach a certain amount in my bank account and boom, something happens. And then there I am. Oh man, I'm not getting anywhere. I'm like this and that, So dude, like whatever it is, you need that mental toughness no matter what you're doing. I could just imagine being on the field and having that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a lot of pressure. I mean, and pressure's everywhere, and especially for yourself. Like when you're in a tough, you're an entrepreneur at heart, right?
100%.
And so you are dealing with a lot. You hold many hats, and so trying to switch from hat to hat, dude, that's a lot of stress to have to carry on each day.
To me, so I heard my mentor tell me this. He was like, "There's a huge difference between stress and strain." Stress can be a good thing if you manage it correctly, but strain is the one that cracks concrete. You need to be very, very careful that you never ever get into that strain because it can permanently hurt you. So when I heard that, I was like, okay. So I can take on all the stress, but I got to make sure I manage it correctly. So like, what is one way do you feel like not just athletes but entrepreneurs can handle stress correctly?
Well, I think there's a lot of ways, and just in general, I think if you can, small things like go for walks, schedule time to do certain activities, go to the gym. Like I'm sure you go to the gym, and I don't know how often you go to the gym, but like I'm sure you go to hit the gym. You're working out, right? That's a big part of alleviating stress. Spending time with family, right? That's a big thing. Making sure you're allocating time with family, with kiddos, spending time with friends, right?
100%. Yeah.
Having those specific outlets to enhance your support network, but also keep up morale, keep up your overall, keeping your stress down, but keeping your morale overall higher than normal.
Yeah, I think like one of the things that I keep thinking about when you said that is when you there should be an off button by the end of the day. at least for me, one of the hurdles that I'm going through right now is, since I'm big on social media, it's very hard for me to turn that off. Like, I'll be hanging out with my family, I'll be on my phone swiping, and I'm like, dude, like, come on. Like, in my head, I'm telling myself, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah.
And like, I'm not gonna lie, I another thing that I feel like I'm struggling with right now too is the overload of dopamine.
Mm.
I feel like that's not talked about a lot, enough, especially for entrepreneurs. And not just entrepreneurs, but people in general. I feel like everyone has a dopamine overload. I've been feeling like that lately, dude. Like, you know what I mean? That's why I always tell my people that ask me, how do you stay so consistent with posting? Well, one of the things that I've been implementing in my routine now is I'll schedule my posts out 3 days in advance, and I'll stay off Instagram, TikTok for 3 days.
There you go.
I mean, it hasn't been successful, but I'm trying to do that because, I mean, dopamine overload is real, dude. It sucks.
Well, I think it all comes down to like trial and error, right? You're trying to figure out what works best for you because not everybody's the same,
100%. Yeah.
right? And so you're trying to figure out what works best for you in that way, and you being able to take that time off of scrolling when you know that that's been a factor of affecting you and your family. I think that that's a big change that you're trying to work towards, even though you say, hey, it's not as successful as me being on every day, but
Not be real,
also,
right?
yeah, you also got to be present with your family.
No,
too,
yeah,
so.
yeah, no, and I'll shout out my girlfriend on this one because she'll always tell me, like, bro, we're hanging out right now. Can you put your phone away? I'm like, and then obviously, like, I get a little like, a little like annoyed,
I've been there.
but but it's one of those things where like she's right. And I think
Absolutely.
and I think her being right, and her being right, and then obviously telling me what to do is probably what's like giving me like the little like, oh, shut up,
Yeah.
but I know she's right, and she's gonna watch this, and I know she's right, and I've been better at it than before. I've actually bought this thing called what is it called? It's like a key thing where it blocks all social media off your phone, but without it, you can't get on it.
Oh, wow.
I think it's called block, or I forgot what it was called. It's like a little square thing.
Oh, I think
Um,
it is called Block.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I think so.
yeah,
I think so.
yeah,
I've seen it.
yeah. So it's cool because I can I have I haven't been doing it because my mental like knows what it does.
Yeah.
Without that, I can't get on anything.
Yeah.
So I'll subconsciously avoid it.
You ever feel like you need to delete the app just to get
Sometimes, but the thing is, like, if I didn't have a business, I would definitely be on social media, bro. I would hurdle that thing out of this window real quick, dude. I would literally delete Instagram tomorrow if I didn't need it. But if you're a small business, if you're a business, I think it's a tool that you can definitely use at your disposal.
Well, you're not just reaching people here in your area, you're reaching the whole world.
Yeah,
So
dude.
like if you're trying to get people from like I know you've gotten, people coming to you for haircuts that are from like from myself, I was here in Cali and I'm coming here from Arizona to get haircuts and stuff like
See,
that.
yeah, you see what I'm
So-
saying? So that's why I think it's important for me to realize the difference between it's time to be on my phone, and then it's actually time for family. Dude, it's hard for me. Like, dude, I'll be in the gym sometimes scrolling. I'm like, just get the fuck off your phone, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's work. Time to work.
Yeah, it's time to work. You know what I mean? So I definitely love that tangent, but I definitely want to ask you this though. Like, what did you see in the first responder world that made you want to go deeper in the mental side? Because I'm sure you see some shit.
Yeah, I have. That's a good question. I've done a lot of ride-alongs with Phoenix Police, and I think that's a cool part of being in that because I get to see what they experience on a day-to-day, but I get it from a micro exposure level. They're traumatized, man. There's a lot of trauma that's going around, the stuff that they see on a daily basis. It's completely different. Like they're under a lot of scrutiny. They're under a lot of pressure every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine like having a body cam and you're being recorded and your every single move, every single action is being recorded from someone else. And it's not just one person, it's 50 people, 100 people. And you have to, it's like you're kind of putting on a show, in a way, but you have to follow the book. But besides that,
that's a lot of pressure.
The biggest thing is they're under a lot of pressure every single day. Yeah. It's not like the military where the army gets deployed for 6 months or 4 months or whatever it is, and they come back and it's like, oh, I get to drop my guard.
Mm-hmm.
These guys have to go out, serve the community every single day, and they are exposed to trauma
And this is like
12 to
and
16 hours a
this is
day.
PD, right? Like police.
I'm just talking PD specifically.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
this is all over the
yeah.
world.
That's
I mean,
wild.
specifically, I'm just talking about like Phoenix because I've been exposing them. Like they're experiencing trauma. Like I'm telling you right now, in the past 2 weeks, Phoenix has had 8 OISs,
What is
officer involved shootings.
Holy shit!
8.
That's
Like
wild.
this is like we're talking. Phoenix has a lot of stuff going on, and it's like how do you manage that?
Mhm.
So trauma is a big thing. They experience a lot of different traumatic. Go ahead. I know you're.
And no, yeah, and I guess my question is like, how many of them are actually willing to step up and say, "Hey, I'm not okay." It's really rare, right?
I don't have an exact number. I don't have a statistic, and I know that there's a statistic out there. But I will say this: the folks that I did work with, there was some resistance to actually seeing me in the work, the service. Yeah, and from me coming in, I'm not a cop. You know, I don't have that background. I don't have that experience. But how I built the relatability is building it with I'm planting a seed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'll tell you one right now. I had an officer when I came to a briefing one time that told me straight up, why should I listen to you? You've never walked a day in our freaking shoes. And I'm like, you know what, dude, you're right. I haven't. I'm not here for I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to force you anything that I have to give. I'm here to let you know that I care about you as a person.
Right.
I don't just care about the badge. The work that we do is bigger than the badge itself. I'm looking at it from the human being perspective. I'm here for you as a human being, and I care about you.
And I definitely think that was like an attack, but he felt like it was an attack on his I guess you could say resilience, I guess, in a sense, because like I mean that's what's screaming out to me is like. Why should I listen to you if you've never walked a day in my shoes? That just tells me like, okay, there's a lot underneath that.
Absolutely, there's a lot. There for sure is,
and they're probably scared. Scared.
There's a lot of fear behind it. There's scared. There's definitely him being scared. And I don't want to like label that, but it's the emotion seemed, but based on what he said to me, that's what it seems like.
Right.
But the law enforcement culture has, for decades, had a very strong negative response to mental health in general.
Yeah.
It's up and coming. Wellness is getting stronger and stronger by the year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The fact that there are departments out there that actually have mental performance specialists embedded with them is very, very unique and something that's not all over the world yet, but it will be. It's something you have to think about, too, is like, why do professional sports or just in sports in general have mental performance specialists when it's like that's such a low cost, like low pressure? And again, there's pressure associated with that, but it's low pressure.
Right.
But why are we not putting people on the ground inside departments where it's literally life or death?
That's crazy, dude. Yeah.
You know
when you put it in that perspective, it's like it should be talked about more. It should be in people's faces because this is essentially what happens, you know? So like what was your breaking point and then when you realize, okay, even the helper needs help?
Well, I think there was 2 different times for that. I will say back in 2023 when I was working with the Army and I ended up having to quit because my scheduling with my doctorate, my internship hours, it wouldn't coincide. So I had to figure out how to get my hours, quit my job. So financial stress is a huge stressor already. So financial stress, not being able to, you know.
Yeah, bro. I feel you on that.
Have that money coming in and then work towards my doctorate. That was a big thing. I ended up realizing how depressed I was. I was sleeping in longer than I should have. I didn't have necessarily anxiety, but depression was a big thing. I think I felt like I lost my purpose, even though I was just going through an internship. I think a little bit of my identity was tied to like how much money I was making.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's literally one of the things that not just you know what you're going through, but entrepreneurs go through all the time too. Like their value is always going to be tied to how much they make or how much they have in the bank, and it sucks because you feel like you're getting somewhere, and then boom, something happens. But what you got to understand is as long as you have that flow, as long as you got that flow going, you should be fine. You know what I mean? But you're right. Like a lot of the times, you know, our value is tied to how much money we're making. When in reality, we're way more valuable than what we are making. I want people to understand that you are more valuable than what you're making.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I had to reevaluate that.
Right.
And I went through therapy. I was going through therapy for
Therapy's
about
great.
6 months. And I continued it on and off until I was like, okay, I think I'm good right now, because therapy is more like keeping you in a
Mm-hmm.
maintenance stage.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and that was a big thing for me. And then I'll jump to moving across 2 states, no, 3 states actually,
Right. Right.
away from my wife. That was huge. How it affected our relationship because I wasn't with her. You don't understand, or not you don't understand, but it's very hard to imagine when, like, how a situation is going to feel, especially when you're not with the
No, of
person,
course,
like,
because
that's literally your best friend.
yeah, of course, like especially if you're with them all the time, and then
Yeah.
to eventually, to go to another state without them, I can't imagine myself without my family. You know what I mean? So, you know, how did that shape how you coach now? Because I'm sure that had to play a big role in how you're showing up now.
The aspect of me moving away.
Yeah, like how is that affecting the way you coach now? Like how has that affected like everything you're doing now with mental performance?
I don't think it's affected everything, but I will say it's given me more of what's going on with the person, rather
Mm-hmm.
than the struggle that they're dealing with in the moment. Like, looking deeper,
Right.
right? We're always dealing with
It's always
something.
surface
There's
level.
Yeah,
Right.
there's always something deeper. So
Yeah.
if we can ask questions, and in psychology we call this motivational interviewing. Like, we can ask them questions that are going to give us responses, that are going to motivate them to give us the response that are literally coming directly from them, but they're not realizing that it's within them.
Right.
So we're pulling information out with the right
Right thing,
questioning.
right question.
So if I can ask the right questions, they're going to give me
The right
information, and then they're
yeah.
going to be like, "Oh shit!"
And then not only
know?
that too, like you when you ask the right questions, you're giving them the opportunity to reveal what's really going on underneath, because a lot of people aren't going to just tell you right away.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
You know, and this is why I wanted to have you on, because most people only teach from the outside, like they just teach surface level, and you actually lived it, dude. Like you moved across multiple states, you've been away from your wife. On top of that, you know, you work with first responders, the army, and stuff like that. That's a lot of mental resilience, if you ask me. You know, and you were able to help others survive while you're trying to figure out your own piece. That shit's fucking hard, dog. You know, so I give you props for that, because that right there just builds, it gives perspective, right? And I mean, would you say now you have purpose now?
yes, absolutely. And I will say that I didn't find it until I started to realize and tap into what my mission was.
100%. Yeah.
Really, like, truly what my mission is. My niche is working with law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
My skill set is working with law. I just have that relatability.
Right. Right.
And overall, my mission is very simple. I just
Yeah.
want to build tough minds for minds for cops.
I love that. I love
That's
that.
it. Just build tough minds for cops.
You know,
Using
and
mental skill
that's sick,
coaching.
dude. I love that, because I feel like a lot of people, especially barbers, they just think they're cutting hair. When I realized I was more than just a barber, that's when I was okay. I have a voice. I want to teach. I want to show barbers that what's possible from, dude, in a small town. I'm able to charge $125 a cut. Like, who the fuck would have? I mean, I would have probably laughed at myself if I would have came to myself 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna be charging $125 a cut, dog. Like, haha, you know what I mean? But you know, my purpose is I definitely want to show barbers what's possible if you take your craft seriously, because I feel like that's an under talked about. And if I'm being honest with you, it's a very disrespected industry. A lot of people think it's just the haircut. I mean, you're sitting here driving from Arizona for a haircut, you know, paying these kind of prices, you know. So, and I think we talked about this earlier, that it's not just the haircut, dude.
It's not.
You know what I mean?
I personally, it's about the relationship, and it's about the experience of getting your hair cut.
I mean,
That's what it is about.
Yeah, 100%.
How does that person make you feel inside the chair?
I've always said this: no matter who you are, you will never ever forget how that person made you feel. I can tell you that right now, just because I've had mentors talk to me a certain way, and I still remember how they made me feel. I don't talk to me anymore. It's been 6 years, and I still remember how they made me feel, whether it be good or bad. You know what I mean? So when you attach emotion to what you're doing, it's a no brainer. People are gonna listen. right?
Yeah.
That's why when I posted unlicensed barbers weren't barbers on TikTok, people lost their fucking shit because it was an emotional thing.
Mhm.
People associate themselves with being a barber, but now that someone like myself is calling that shit out, it's like, oh fuck, you're attacking my identity.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I definitely feel like that's one of the things that doesn't get talked about is purpose. So if you haven't figured it out, just keep going. It'll come to you, because I feel like it came to you randomly, right?
I knew that it was working with tactical populations, but I didn't know exactly what my niche was. I was like, I'm really good at
Mhm.
this. I'm really good at working with this population.
Right.
But where do I jive?
Where do I go?
Who's my group that I
Mhm.
really just I work super well with? And it's law enforcement.
I love that.
I know how to fucking break down barriers. I know how to drop stigma. I know how to increase morale. I know how to get them to buy in. And that's because I know how to build a relationship with them.
Mhm.
That's a very hard thing to do. A very hard thing
Very
to do.
hard thing to do.
Especially if you've never been a fucking cop. You've never you've never been in their shoes. And I've had like on my TikTok people say shit
Of
like,
course.
"Oh, you've never been a cop. How the fuck do you know?"
Of
It's
course.
like, bro, like that's fine, but give me a chance to have a conversation with you.
People aren't especially on TikTok. I call them Twitter gangsters, because they're not gonna.
I like that.
They're not gonna, dude. These people are good at one thing. That they're going to tell you how they feel in that moment, and they're not gonna let you talk. They're gonna keep barking
Yeah.
over your voice. Truth does not matter to them, no matter how much of a fact it is.
Mhm.
They're gonna keep doing this just because
Yeah.
it hurts their ego.
Right.
I firmly believe if you have a fragile ego, it's gonna be hard for you to get to where you want to get to.
Mhm.
I shouldn't say ego. I guess what's a better?
No, I think you're right. I think if they have a fragile ego, it's like it's fake confidence.
Yeah, dude.
And when you have fake confidence, something like that, some constructive criticism or
It's
maybe something
yeah.
that you don't align with, it breaks your belief system. It's gonna rattle you. It's gonna rattle your
Yeah.
cage. You give the power to the person. You're basically
Right.
handing the remote
Yeah.
to those other people.
It's so
Through
annoying.
your emotions.
Hey, barber fam, I really hope you're enjoying this conversation as much as I am. But real quick, if you're a barber struggling to get new clientele online or struggling to shoot content, the whole thing just feels like guesswork to you. There's literally no need to guess anymore. I built my own school platform where I show you exactly how to shoot content, what angles work, and how to study other people's content. That way you're not doing the guesswork anymore. So if you're done struggling, feeling stuck, click the link in the description down below and let's grow together. Back to the conversation. Right. So yeah, no, like how you were saying, like I do 100% agree that if you have a fragile ego, you're going to have a hard time getting to where you want to get to, because a lot of the times when you have a fragile ego, you're going to lead with that, and you can point it out easy. You can tell right away if someone has a fragile ego just by how they talk, how they carry themselves, how their grammar is. Um, excuse me. Even, I mean, I hate to say this, but even as far as how they look,
Mm-hmm.
are they flashy? Are they loud? Especially if they're loud, you can already kind of tell what that kind of person is about, if based on those little small things,
Yeah.
So I definitely want to pivot into the mental game framework and how high performers fall apart and how they rebuild. So I definitely feel like I want to talk about the awareness versus avoidance. Like most men are aware they're struggling, but avoid doing anything about it. Why?
And in awareness versus avoidance.
Yeah, because I mean, dude, I know when I'm struggling. I know when I'm not doing good. I know, but I'm okay to say, hey, you know what, I'm not feeling good today. But most, especially, I feel like, especially in the first responders, I feel like they have to put up not a facade, but like a strong they have to build a strong resilience. And I feel like this is where you come in, right?
Well, yeah, dude. I will say this is they're built to be stoic. They're built to be. I have to have the barrier up.
Mm-hmm.
If they go out in the community with the barrier not up, right? If they go out if they go into their groups, their first responder groups or squads or whatever we want to call it, like you have to have that barrier up because judgment, embarrassment, you can become those things can create potential possibilities for you to become an outcast.
Yeah.
You don't want to feel like you're an outcast. You don't want to feel fearful. You don't want to feel embarrassed. You don't want to feel shame. You don't want to feel guilt. So yeah, it's very hard for first responders to be like, I'm feeling that because they've never been trained on how to
100%.
recognize, be aware, and then talk about it.
And I feel like, would you say it's like a more of a trend with the older men that are like cops or first responders, right?
100%.
Right. I mean,
It's the suck it up, pussy. Right?
yeah,
It's suck it
yeah.
up. Suck it up, buttercup.
They're from that era
Yeah.
where they didn't get that kind of support, where they thought that that was okay to do.
Yeah.
Um, and the reason why I say that, because I know a lot of people in that, not just cops, but people that are like that, and it's like, it's hard to kind of talk to those type of people about certain things, especially emotions and feelings, because they don't know how to even start. Like, shut up, pussy. You know, like,
Yeah.
you
Who like not? It's a very uncomfortable topic. We'll
very,
just say that it's an
very much so.
uncomfortable thing.
Very,
It's like
very much so.
if you do talk about it, and this is I'm just talking about first responders. If you talk about it, you're considered or labeled as weak,
Yeah, yeah, and that's
right?
it's far from the truth, because at the end of the day, you don't have to like post it on the gram.
No.
You can go through what you're going through in the background and come out stronger because you went through it.
Right.
Like, one of the things now, and I've learned from being sober. I'm actually 2 years sober from smoking weed.
Congratulations.
I'm sober now. It's crazy because I never thought I could do it, because I've I kind of find out I had all these underlying issues with weed, being the main suppressor. So when I stopped, all the shit that I was avoiding was front and center. It was like waiting for me. Like, oh, you thought you forgot about us? Mommy issues, daddy issues, Paco issues, all these issues that I had buried down inside were waiting for me right there, bro. Oh, you think you forgot about it? Oh, we're right here, dude. We didn't go anywhere. You chose to look the other way, but we're still here. So imagine going through all of that in one go. That was on top of being a first time father.
Did you ever get therapy for that?
No, I didn't. I probably should though. I probably should, but I did. Talk to what's it called, my coaches and stuff like that. I did talk about it. I didn't just like bury it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wasn't just like, you guys, for example. I'm very vocal about how I feel. You know, because I'm now it makes a lot more sense now that I am where I am now, because now whenever I'm going through something, I do my best to stay still and just just feel it, because at the end of the day, feelings are gonna come and go. You know, and then once I go through it, it's gone for a little while. I don't want to say gone permanently, because I mean, it comes and goes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, would you say, I mean, when it comes to your own issues, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm an expert at it.
Right. Well, I mean, me either, right?
But yeah, for sure, definitely have emotions that happen, and I'm still to this very day working on being able to regulate. Emotional regulation is tough. Like, it's not something, again, you get better and better at it.
Yeah.
But you learn to be able to slow yourself down. When I was younger, I had really bad anger problems, and so I'm like tenfold better than what I was when I was a kiddo, but I also dealt with a lot of like childhood trauma and stuff like that.
Right.
So,
I mean, who hasn't, right?
no, absolutely,
Right.
yeah. And there's definitely a lot of that going around,
like,
going around for a lot of people.
100%, dude. Like, I mean, if I want to tie something about that, like, my thing was, it's funny how when I started talking about it, journaling about it and everything, and then it started making more sense. I think that's the only thing you can do. It just makes sense of it.
Yeah.
And just then you can start moving on. So, I started realizing that a lot of the reason why I started smoking weed was because of my parents' divorce and my parents split. That was a huge dark time in my life, because not only did my mother step out on my dad, and I've never said this before, but I'm comfortable sharing this now, because this is what happened. And it was very hard for me to translate that as a 17-year-old, trying to find myself. And I didn't know who the fuck I was,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I found weed, it was so easy for me to just like, well, then
Just go into a separate,
fuck it.
It's like a separate realm.
Yeah,
basically.
fuck it, So
Yeah.
so now, now that I'm in my 30s and I have kids now, I forgive my parents, as their son, but as a parent,
That's deep.
that's a different story,
Yeah.
bro. Like,
Because now you can look at it from a parent's perspective.
yeah, I forgive you as your son, but as a parent, I don't know, dude. Like, I really don't know, and I'm still dealing with that to this day. Because to me, it's like how can you do something like this to your kids? As a parent, I'm just like, oh, like, you piss me off, dog.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I'm working with now as a parent. And I mean, granted, it's only been 3 years since I've been a parent, so I'm still fairly new.
Doesn't matter. You're still a parent.
I guess you can say there's never really like a seasoned whatever, right? Because I mean, every year, every age for your I mean, dude, like my oldest is different from my youngest,
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm learning how to gravitates that as a new parent. But but my point is when I realized that when what was bothering me was my parents' divorce, and when I tried to talk to my parents about it, they didn't really give me any answers. It was just like, well, it is what it is. We tried it and it worked. The fuck do you mean? I'm trying to have a conversation with you about this, and you're not. Okay, cool. So that explains a lot too why me and my mother don't talk anymore.
Mm,
Me and my dad are working on a relationship, but me and my mom don't talk anymore because of XYZ reason.
sure.
But you see what I'm saying though? Like I was suppressing so much of my anger towards my parents that I started smoking weed. But now that I'm not, it's right here, dude.
Yeah, it's right in front of your
It's
face.
right at my fucking face. So if anyone out there is dealing with that shit, just know that it's not gonna go away until you actually address it.
Yeah, you have to address that stuff.
So and that really does tie into what we're talking about, emotional regulation. So like, what is one thing that you can tell the viewers that what do first responders do daily that barbers and entrepreneurs can learn from?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that they do daily.
Well, not just barbers, just like anyone that's going through some shit, right?
I think some are good at this and some are not.
Right.
But I'll tailor this back to what you said earlier about how sometimes you have that that switch that's on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big one. I teach officers how to turn that switch off. And sometimes it's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Because they're on standby. They're on 24/7. They're on call, right? So they have to go home and realize that they have two phones. One might ring as soon as they walk in that door. And they're like, hey, you got to go out on OIS. Or, hey, you got to go out on this dead body.
What is OIS against that?
Officer involved shooting. Or, hey, you got to go out on this child drowning. That's a big one,
Ugh.
right? And so they got to know
Mm-hmm.
that they're on standby. So the big thing is, I'm going to tailor it back to what you said about your switch being on. The things that I teach are creating what I like to call, and what sports psychology discusses as a post-performance routine.
Mm-hmm.
So having a pre, but also a post-performance routine. So something that a routine that you can follow that's literally, hey, I'm taking my entrepreneur hat off, and now I'm dad, or now I'm husband, or now I'm boyfriend, whatever it is. I'm not entrepreneur right now.
Mm-hmm.
I am
I
Paco, right?
that.
I am Gabe. Whoever you are, like, I am so-and-so, and this is the hat that I'm going to wear. I'm not wearing entrepreneur. So you need to be able to create a routine that allows you to. And I'll give you an example of one. This is a very powerful one. When I was working with a soldier in Fort Bliss, this soldier had been dealing with very long 16-hour work days, and he would go home, and he told me that there was a couple of nights in general where his daughter was playing in the room beside him, and he noticed her making certain noises, but he was like, he can feel how much anger he had. It was not from her, but it was from work. And he immediately, because he heard those noises and he didn't like them, snapped on her, like completely snapped on her, went haywire on her. And his wife like totally had to like downregulate him or try to downregulate him. And it was just a chaotic situation. And that was a signal of like, okay, he doesn't know how to turn his switch off. He had everything. Number one, he didn't know how to regulate, but also he didn't turn his switch off, right? He didn't know how to properly do that. So one of the things that we did is we created a routine so that once he got home, it was, I'm dad, right?
Yeah.
And with that, the routine was, as soon as I walk in the door, my cap, his army cap, would go right on the hanger, and as soon as his keys left his hands from the day, right on the shelf that was right next to his door, that was it. He's dad now. That was his mental cue to realize, okay, I'm in dad mode.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, his relationship with his daughter got better, but also
I love that.
he was able to start talking about his day with his wife.
That's sick.
And creating a better relationship with her.
I love that.
And so morale was going up, and it turned into a really, really great outcome for him and
That's
his
good.
family.
That's wonderful because I mean, if I'm relating to that is like I think one of my hardest things to do is take my entrepreneur hat off when I get home because my thing is like I'm always worrying about editing. I'm always worrying about pushing out marketing this, marketing, talking to clients, making sure this like I need to focus. What I'm taking from this, I need a routine when I get home. As soon as my phone touches the fucking mantle, I am not consecrated no more. I
Right.
am dad and I am Paco. I
Yeah.
am significant other to my girlfriend. That's one of the things that I love that's really cool because I'm gonna have to figure that out on my own.
And it's not like it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like, oh, I need to stop for 15 minutes. And it's like, as soon as it could be as soon as you get into your car to drive home, this is your time. And I don't know how long your drive is. Like, what is it?
It's like
20 minutes?
25 minutes or
Okay.
so.
20. That's perfect. Where you can actually decompress from work to home where that's a 25-minute drive. You can focus on your breathing. I know breathing techniques. You can
Yeah.
focus on your breathing. You can listen to calming
So
relaxing music.
I love that. So let's talk about the breathing technique. So essentially, what is that? It's because I want the viewers to kind of
Yeah,
understand.
no, absolutely.
So what does a breathing routine look like to you?
So, I mean, it could be as simple as a 3-second inhale to a 3-second exhale. And so what you want to do is you want to inhale, but making sure you're inhaling from through your nose and out through your mouth. And you want to be breathing through your diaphragm. So someone that's breathing through their chest, the chest breather, that's someone that's constantly stressed the fuck out.
Shit.
Yeah, someone that has so you see that they're actively breathing through their chest, they are stressed the fuck out all the time. They don't know how to regulate themselves. And so that's a big signal right there. It's like, okay, we need to be aware of shifting that breath through our diaphragm. Because what we're doing when we shift it to our diaphragm, we're compressing the vagus nerve, which is the nerve that runs through your spine all the way down into your tummy. And when you breathe properly through your diaphragm, you increase parasympathetic nervous system. Their parasympathetic activation. So you're increasing that rest and digest relaxation response. So you're lowering your heart rate, lowering your blood pressure, lowering everything that's stress related in your body to a lower level. And that's what we want. We don't want the shit increasing.
Yeah.
Right. And when we're in fight or flight, our heart rate's up, our blood pressure's up, eyes are dilated, right? All these things that are happening, we might be
And
muscles tense.
That's crazy. And there's people out there that are like that 24/7,
yeah,
bro.
they're on edge all the time.
My gosh,
yeah,
that's
like, way to live.
Yeah, it's a very horrible way to live because I mean I guess I can say because like I guess my thing too with that is just because I don't feel like it's working doesn't mean it's working.
Well, you have to practice it. Right. And that's a big thing too, is like, I can give someone a skill to utilize, but if they don't come back to me and they're like, oh, they're on day 2 of it. And it's like, hey, it's not working.
It's like that.
Well, fuck, bro. It's not going to work. You haven't practiced for more than 2 days.
I know, right? It's like the whole thing where like, if I'm out sore, I'm not making any gains. Well, not necessarily, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to be sore to make gains. It's the same argument, right?
Yeah. And I think adding on to that is like, you aren't going to go into the gym and get jacked on day 3.
No.
Like, that's not what happens. If we're talking about I'm going to purely go back to entrepreneurship, is like the consistency of it. You being consistent with your content, just the consistency overall. If I give you a skill, you better be consistent in practicing it, because that's how you're going to see the benefit.
So that's one of the things that I see with barbers is that they'll ask me to coach them or something, right? Or teach them how to do videos. And this is one of the things that I feel like barbers get wrong is just because they're posting content for a week doesn't necessarily mean that they're failing and they don't see no results from it. Like, no, you've only been doing it for a week and then you stop. That's the problem. Like, take it from me. Like, I've been posting content since 2021. Every day.
That's a long time.
Every fucking day. You know what I mean? And just because it may not look like I have this crazy following or whatever, I know barbers that are making more money online at 6,000 followers just because they're consistent with their content. At the end of the day, I firmly believe, and this is not just barbers, but anybody in business, you do not have a business problem. You have an awareness problem. Because if you really think about it, bro, if more and more people knew who you were, there'd be more sales. I mean, more, you know, but there wouldn't be no sales. And to tie it back to what you're saying about the whole, you're not consistent with it. You're not gonna make more sales if you're only doing it for a week. The same thing with the whole breathing thing.
Exactly.
You know, and that's my thing with when I coach barbers, and this is why most barbers fail is they don't stick with it for more than, like, I think you need to do something to see some kind of result at least 3 months, at least 90 days. The next 90 days can change your life, in my opinion. I mean, would you say?
No, I think that that's a great thing. Like, give it 90 days, or even do a 30-day stint of just being consistent with, like, okay, what does the next 30 days look like, and
Mm-hmm.
planning that out, and then once
Dude,
that's done, the next 30 days, right?
you can literally like, and I'm gonna go back to the finance. I'm gonna use the same thing with financing. You can like instead of worrying about how much money you're making a month, you can have one good month and that can push you ahead 6 months. And I think and it goes back to what we are talking about, how people tie their value into how much they're making, and they're not consistent with it. Like at the end of the day, dude, like I said before, like as long as you're consistent with whatever you're doing, like I definitely think that if I didn't post for 2 days, I'll be fine. You
Oh
know
yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely.
And I feel
Especially
like
with where you're at right now.
I but the thing is, I feel like I've earned that to like, oh, I'm gonna take a break for 2 days, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Barbers that it's people that want to make content, that they need to post every single day consistently to see a difference. Like you said, it could be 30 days, it could be 2 months, it could be. I definitely think the 90 day though is like where you're gonna see a significant amount of like.
So would you give like the advice like to a new fresh barber that's like, hey, coming to you, hey, I want to, promote my social media. Would you say, hey, you have to do 90 days like
Oh
minimum
yeah,
upfront?
minimum
Okay.
upfront. Yeah, minimum upfront. So, and if they don't want to do content, and anybody, whatever you're doing in the service industry, whatever you do, post three stories that are tied to what you're doing. For barbers, I'm gonna use haircuts. So you can post 3 haircuts daily, every single day, 24 hours. Don't let that circle thing go dark. 24 hours. And I'm gonna use what you sell, for example. I would post maybe 2 tips a day on your story of mental performance. Like, hey guys, if you guys are struggling with this, I would do this for
XYZ.
XYZ.
Yeah.
Some kind of tip for the mental health, right?
Yep.
Um, so um, I really want to get into the identity conflict when it comes to mental performance, and how do you help men redefine themselves when their role or job becomes their whole identity? Because like as I said earlier, like people get butthurt when I said unlicensed barbers were not barbers. That's an identity crisis, bro.
Yeah.
So how do men help? How do you help men redefine themselves?
The biggest thing is number one, you have to identify what your purpose is. Okay, you have to know what that is. You have to know where you're going. You have to, number two, know what your mission is.
Mm-hmm.
And number three, you have to get clear on what your values are.
Right.
That's a
That
huge
one's
thing.
big, bro.
You have to understand
Mm-hmm.
what aligns you. What is aligning you to your actions every single day. And I like to put a small metaphor out. Like if you're at the bowling alley and those little what do you call those little bump
Alleys or whatever.
little bump yeah, but the little bumper things that keep your ball in the lane.
Oh, I don't know what they're called, but
Yeah,
I know
those
what
things.
you mean.
Those act as your values. Okay. The ball, if it bounces off of those, it's not going anywhere. It's going to bounce back and forth, and it's going to make it to
Whatever
what you're trying to get to, right? So those bumper railings act as your values. If you step outside of that railing, if the ball goes inside the gutter, out the gutter, essentially what you're doing is you're stepping outside of your action. You're doing something that's an action, or you're behaving in a way that's not not conducive to what you're aligned with your values at heart. And so basically you're not being authentic to your real self. You will experience emotions such as shame. You will experience emotions such as guilt. You will experience fear, embarrassment, and that's a motivating factor to get you back on track and put you back in gear and aligned with, okay, I need to get back with my values.
I love that, because like no matter what, if how you said, like no matter what happens, if I were to go into those rails, no matter where it goes, it's still in that core value. So I definitely agree with, like, I feel like people need to understand what are your values and what are you trying to do. Be clear, as crystal clear. Like I'll use my example. Like I want to redefine men's grooming here in Los Banos by charging luxury prices. And what I mean by that is I'm not just trying to give you a haircut and all right, peace out. Like I'm literally trying to give you a whole haircut designed around your lifestyle.
Yeah, you're giving the people an experience.
Exactly. Opposed to the conveyor belt barber where they're just trying to get you in and out, not talking to you, they're probably ignoring you. Like, it's funny that I just thought of this right now before I forget. So I had new client come in. He's from town actually, and he was telling me that he went to a shop here in town, and he was like, "Bro, I went to this barber. I booked him online. Everything was going good, but then mid haircut, he decides to go to Dutch Bros. And the reason why I know he went to Dutch Bros because he had me waiting mid haircut in the chair for an hour.
No way.
Yeah, an hour or something like that. And he's like, bro, it got so bad to the point where the other barbers were asking him, hey, do you want me to finish your haircut? And then he's like, bro, and then one of the other barbers was like, nah, don't do it because you know how he is. But the guy was like, nah, like I want, please finish my haircut. I'm trying to go. So he waited till the guy got back. He had a Dutch Bros cup in his hand. He smelled like weed.
Oh shit.
And yeah, he finished his haircut, never came back. And he came to me. He goes, bro, I'm done paying $25 to $35 haircuts. Like I can see the value now. I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what I'm saying. Like I just feel like these new barbers are really entitled. And I started cutting hair, it was different. It was way different it was a way different ball game.
Well, it's like when you say, hey, my prices are $25-$30, you're gonna attract the clientele for $25 or $30. But you're also if you're gonna go to a barber and it's charging that little, you better expect like not a top tier premium service.
I mean, I'm gonna give barbers that charge that the benefit of the doubt because I know barbers that are great at customer service, professionalism that charge $25 to $40 range. But here's the thing: those barbers are booked out months in advance. It's so hard to get with those good barbers. So those barbers, I feel like, need to raise their prices. And those are the ones that should be charging 100 and up because they know how to give the experience. And what will happen is yes, you'll lose your clientele, but you're going to be making more and working less.
Well, you're going to attract the clientele that's going to pay for your service.
Exactly.
You might lose a large percentage of that clientele that you currently have.
Yeah, you're probably going to lose the people that are complainers, that don't value the service, don't respect your time. That's okay. I'm okay with I'm okay with losing those type of people, and you should be too. And here's why: because you're going to be making more at the higher prices, but you're also going to be less stressed out, working less. You're going to have more time to work on the business instead of in the business. And there's two different things. Working in the business, you're cutting hair behind the chair. Working on the business, you're editing, marketing, posting, promoting, replying to clients, booking clients, making sure clients are happy. That's working on the business, running ads, stuff like that, So, so moving on, I definitely want to talk about stress and performance and this ties into how we're just talking about how the barber that charges $25 to $40 a haircut that booked out for 3 to 4 months in advance. I've seen what burnout looks like, but you've also seen burnout what it looks like up close. What are the early warning signs of burnout?
A big one is isolation. They start isolating. They start just putting themselves into work, like specifically for first responders, like they're just digging their heads into work, and they're isolating from the things that they are dealing with. They're not talking about it. Another thing is they are very emotionally dysregulated, so they'll snap very quickly. They're very on edge all the time. It's just I want to say it's like they're on edge, but it's truly what it is. They're just constantly in a state of like their body's in a state of panic.
Shit.
So a lot of it is those two things right now. Those things specifically, it's isolation and emotional dysregulation. They're constantly on edge, and on top of that, they're trying to self-soothe, but they're not entirely sure how to.
I need to focus on that because I feel like I'm like right on the cusp of burnout.
I actually burned out. I was very close. Well, I wouldn't say I actually burned out. I was very close to it. My workload was so high for about 8 weeks this past year. Well, not this past year, but earlier this year in the months of, I think it was March to mid-May. I was running a study. I wrote a white paper, and I was running a study on specifically meditation and how it affects our wellness unit, detectives in our wellness unit, and how it's going to be able to drop their overall stress response from the stuff that they're dealing with on a day-to-day. I was working 16-hour days. Like I had probably like 50 fucking clients throughout the week, every single week. I felt the pressure.
Damn, well, yeah,
I felt the pressure, and it's like, dude, I was getting damn near ready. Like I didn't have any time to like in some aspects to eat during my day. Yeah. I wasn't sleeping 100% because I was thinking about the next day. I was constantly prepping and getting ready for the next day, and I was getting ready for on top of my normal schedule. I was doing these other one-on-ones that were specific to that research. Yeah. So it was regular schedule plus added workload. So I was on the fucking cusp of burning out because I did not give myself the time
Right.
to actually
To like decompress
decompress,
and press.
relax. You have to be able to decompress. You
Yeah.
have to have that time, and that comes from a lot of different places, but specifically like family and friends are a big thing. You have to have a strong support network.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing. You can't overly identify with what you're doing.
No.
You can't. You have to. That's why it's important to
I love that.
understand your purpose, your mission, and your
Mhm.
values with everything you're doing.
I love that because I mean I see it all the time, especially with barbers. Like they'll take clients back to back, no food, no water, nothing, and
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking nuts. I now this is why I always say like barbers need to focus on their business, not just being in the business. But like now I freak out when I have more than eight clients. Like my goal a day is to do 6 to 8. That is it. But at this price point, it's sustainable.
Yeah, absolutely.
100% stable. I'm happier. My clients are happier. My clients get a better service from me. Why wouldn't you want that? Opposed to, oh, you know what? I'm going to do 40 haircuts a day.
Plus, you have better work-life balance.
Yeah. Hey, barber fam, I really hope you're enjoying this conversation as much as I am. But real quick, if you're a barber struggling to get new clientele online or struggling to shoot content, the whole thing just feels like guesswork to you. There's literally no need to guess anymore. I built my own school platform where I show you exactly how to shoot content, what angles work, and how to study other people's content. That way you're not doing the guesswork anymore. So if you're done struggling, feeling stuck, click the link in the description down below and let's grow together. Back to the conversation.
It's like real like work-life balance. I just feel like you have to find the harmony, like the synchronization between the two.
I
Like
think
sometimes work is going to come a little bit more priority in some aspects, but sometimes you have to be able to be like, oh shit, let me bring that down and let me go let me bring in the life
So
balance.
here's what I know now is I don't really associate myself with the whole work-life balance thing anymore either. I don't believe life is a balance, but I think life is a rhythm now. You know, like this week my rhythm is this. I'm dealing with this. Like for example, I had the whole mix up with like the whole landlord thing. That's my rhythm this week. You know what I mean? There's no such thing as a balance, right? Because I mean, when you balance something, you're sacrificing something to balance that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such I feel like every week there's a new rhythm of what you're going through.
Yeah,
Or I guess and then that rhythm can go a season long.
yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? You know, so I guess it's the same thing what you were saying, but just worded differently, right?
Yeah, I do feel like we're constantly making decisions that require sacrifices.
100%.
But to your point, I do think that that's true too. Is like there's a rhythm to what you're going through. Every week is different, but sometimes because you are doing the same thing every single day, things blend together where you don't realize.
Yeah.
Like days literally blend together, and then weeks blend together. It's like, oh shit! Like, damn, it's already the next Thursday.
Dude, we're already in October. There's already there's literally
Yeah.
less than 90 days left of the year, you know. So, I guess my rhythm now is focusing on these next 3 months and just trying to lock in, dude. You know. So like if we're moving on to bridging the gap, from breakdown to breakthrough, what's the daily routine or mental skills that keeps us grounded? Like,
I would. This is a big one. I think it's undervalued. Meditation.
you know what's crazy is like I did that maybe once or twice and I stopped. Well, not once or twice, but I've stopped doing it. I need to get back into it. And I like essentially, what does that look like for you?
So meditation. I mean, it can be. Well, for myself, I can kind of walk you through it. It could be 3 to 5 minutes. For someone that's a beginner, you could start out with a minute. But truly, it's just having that present moment awareness. Like you are completely present with where you are, and you are non-judgmental with the things that are going on with your body, internally, mentally, physiologically, and your environment. And so, right now we're doing this podcast. I can hear birds chirping. Right? I can hear barbers talking in the other room.
Right.
I'm completely present with you. Right.
Right.
I'm locked eyes with you. Yes, my heart's
Wow.
my heart's beating a little bit. I'm noticing and I'm aware of the things that are happening in my body, but I'm also noticing.
That's crazy.
And aware of the things that are around me.
I think that's focus, man. I guess in a sense this is a form of meditation. I guess because I am seeing or hearing what you're saying. I'm locked into this moment. There's nothing else that really matters right now. My main thing is doing this podcast and having a conversation. You know, so that's pretty cool. So
it's truly present moment awareness. Like meditation helps build focus, helps build concentration, because we can be in the state of practicing meditation and our mind is going to go haywire. It might
Mm-hmm.
be thinking about the next day. It might be thinking about what we have on our to-do list, or the bills we got to pay, or whatever it is that's the next week. But the idea behind meditation is practicing attentional control. We bring our attention from that thought back to our breath. We bring our attention back from that thought again, back to our heartbeat, or back to our breath, or whatever we're focusing on in that moment. We're
I love
being
that.
with ourselves in that moment
I
and
love that.
non-judgmental of what's going on.
Yeah, see, that's I feel like very unutilized skill that a lot of entrepreneurs, men in general, can use. Um, Especially, I mean, like, again, you don't have to like scream into the world that you're going through some stuff. You can just do that, right? You can just sit there and I mean, essentially, to me, the way I'm reading it as it's intentional stillness, right? Just letting things pass,
It is
and
intentional.
right,
It is
you know,
intentional. Yeah, because you don't just sit down and think about your heart beating,
right,
or think
right.
about like the sensations that are happening in your legs or your thighs or whatever it is, your back. But most people like hold a lot of stress in their traps, in their forehead area,
Wow.
and you wouldn't realize it, but that's why people are they're all just like clammed up like this sometimes. Like it's just muscle tension. Like their stress really holds
Holy
in our
shit.
traps, in our back. A lot of my stress personally gets held in my forehead.
Mm-hmm.
Like my wife tells me like, "Hey, like, stop scrunching your forehead." But that's why I have lines.
Oh wow. I never noticed. I never noticed that.
No, it's not why I have lines, but I like to say that. But like,
I feel like,
literally, I scrunch my forehead so much, but it's a lot of
yeah.
it's unintentional.
Like, speaking of that, I feel like because my girlfriend always calls me out, she'll be like, "Stop running your back." Like I'm always like,
Oh, okay,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
So I guess that's something I had to learn too, because I thought discipline meant ignoring my emotions, but I realized that discipline actually means facing them and showing up anyways. Um, and so I guess my next question is like, how can men or barbers build emotional awareness without feeling soft? Because that's like a big thing, especially when it comes to mental awareness. But it's like a scrutinized thing that gets thrown around. Oh, you're a pussy, bro. You're a bitch for feeling blah blah blah. It's like, dude, shut up. You're human too, right? So, essentially, how would you?
that's interesting because I'm not really familiar with like the culture behind barbering
Well, just
like,
think of
over in general.
entrepreneurship and like running a business. That's essentially what, because I mean, barbers don't like to admit it. There's like this whole thing that barbers aren't a business. Yes, we are. We're selling a service. We're
Yeah,
selling you a haircut. It's not just a haircut. So stop it.
yeah,
Stop it. So it's a business. So just imagine just running a business how it is, right? So
right.
I guess that's what I'm asking you. Like,
Yeah, so I think that like emotional awareness, you can really pay just at the very core, the very very core of it is being able to train your mind to be aware through self talk, through
mm-hmm,
different mental cues that you can say to yourself to identify, oh, that I'm not just feeling angry or sad. And I like to say, this is a big thing for myself. I like to say,
mm-hmm,
oh, I'm angry or I'm annoyed. Those are two things that I like to say a lot. But truly underneath that is a whole different list of emotions.
right,
Maybe I'm like at the very core of that, like me being angry. Maybe I'm
mm-hmm,
sad. I have to
yeah,
dig a little bit into it.
yeah,
Maybe I'm a little bit embarrassed. Maybe I feel rejected. Maybe I feel a little guilty for what I
mm-hmm,
did. And I think the emotional awareness comes with you actually practicing paying attention and leaning into what you're experiencing in those stressful
mm-hmm.
times.
No, yeah, 100%. I definitely think. I mean, like, I guess the reason why I want to ask that is because I know how barbers act. I know the culture very, very well. Most like to smoke weed on their down. I'm not saying smoking weed's bad, but when you use it to suppress into whatever you're going through, that's when it becomes an issue. You know, I think that's why I'm a big advocate for mental awareness for barbers, because a lot of barbers don't know how to or where to go to when it comes to regulating their emotions or just talking about what they're going in their business. Because again, like I said before, a lot of people don't see barbering like a business, and I'm not just saying barbers in general, but people just respect the industry so much just because, again, how I was saying, we're just a haircut. It's more than just a haircut, dude. So it's cool that you say that, because again, like I said before, a lot of barbers go through these mental hurdles and don't know where to start. I think the best way to start is to attack whatever is you're on your mind in that moment. I feel like, and not just barbers, but in people in general. I feel like a lot of people just like to, well, I have all these problems. Where do I start? Well, what are you going through with right now?
Yeah, start with step one.
You know,
Step-
what is one thing that's bothering you right now? Because I mean, I mean, if we're talking from experience, I know what's bothering me right now. I can say that, but I feel like barbers just focus on the big monster that's inside of them, right? Well, you know,
Well, I like to go back to a saying that's very common in sports psychology is control the controllables.
yeah,
And that is you need to focus your energy, your time, and your effort on everything that you can control rather than what you can't control.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. I love that. So, you know, um, one more question in this segment, or this section. What does recovery look like mentally, but not physically?
What does recovery look like? That's a great question. I will say you're able to celebrate your wins more, and I think
I
from
love
that
that.
from that aspect is you're retraining your belief system to be
Mm-hmm.
more productive for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, you have better, much more stronger self talk,
Mm-hmm.
confident self talk, convicting self talk about who you are as a person. Finding out what your purpose is, but also aligning your self talk to be confident, right?
Mm-hmm.
Convicting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's using the right statements that aligns with you, motivates you, that goes back to your core, like
I love
feeling
that.
your passion, feeling your fire. And so an additional aspect of mental recovery would be uh, having a more optimistic mindset,
Mm-hmm.
right? Being more optimistic about things that you are going through instead of looking at it from a fixed mindset or a counterproductive frame where instead of you're looking at things like, oh, this is the fucking worst thing that can happen to me. Well, it's like, oh, how can this be like a challenge for me right now?
Mm-hmm.
Or how can I use this to propel myself
Yeah,
forward?
I love that because like I feel like people in general, not just barbers, they do this thing where they don't welcome problems, especially the problems that they put themselves into. And I'm not saying that I'm not talking about baby mom drama. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like business in general. Like I feel like you have to welcome these challenges in because if you try to run from them, they're gonna be there anyways. I mean, that's what I got from what you just said.
Yeah.
Like you have to welcome, like bring it on. Let's do this. You know what I mean? I don't know what I don't know what challenges are gonna come. This is essentially my mindset when I opened up this place. Like I didn't know what it was gonna be like as a barbershop owner, and I definitely had a crazy beginning stage because I had a few barbers in this area that pretty much screwed me over
Yeah.
in that sense. Um, and I had to deal with that because one of them was one of my good friends. I had to learn how to deal with that, but I welcome those things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had to tell myself like no matter who is here, this is gonna happen. This shop is gonna happen with or without whoever is still here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so so that was my mindset when I opened up this place. Bring it on. Let's do this shit.
Yeah, it's a challenge mindset. That's a learner's mindset. That's a growth mindset. Like
Hmm.
you are embracing opportunity, you're embracing the stressful situations, and you're looking at it from a perspective that's, hey, how can I get through this
Yeah,
in a
like
much more
100%. Like I'm not gonna blame. I'm not gonna sit here and complain. Oh, owning a barbershop fucking sucks. Well, I'm not gonna complain because this is what I wanted.
right?
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna complain that because I had a rough start with barbers. I'm not gonna complain and blame. No, I wanted this.
Yeah,
This is what I wanted. Like you know, regardless of who's here, who's not, this is gonna happen. This is gonna be the best barbershop in the valley.
yeah,
Mark my words, because I know what this valley needs. Most the barbershop industry is filled with ego and ran by ego. But if you run it with morale, that's a different story.
mm,
I think morale goes longer, in my opinion.
yeah.
In my opinion. So one more section and then pretty much done. I love this part of the section because it's very quick. I call this section the hot seat. And just answer these questions as quickly as you can. So what is one mental block you still struggle with today?
I would say imposter syndrome,
Oh, I know.
like propelling so fast and so far so quickly that you're like, shit, do I even belong here right now? But then you have to look back at everything you've done,
Mm-hmm.
all the skill, all the reps you've done to
Right.
build your confidence. That those thoughts they come in my mind a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So imposter syndrome is something that I think a lot of people deal with.
I deal with it
I
too.
don't engage with it, but if they are thoughts, like those thoughts of like, hey, is this
This
Should
Gabe.
you be here right now?
Are like I guess my imposter syndrome is this isn't you, Pac. Why are you posting yourself talking like this on TikTok? This isn't you.
Yeah.
Like you know very well. I'm like, what do you mean? I've done this, and
Yeah.
it goes back to what you were saying.
Yeah.
I've done this before. What the fuck do you mean?
Hmm.
I've started cutting hair at this age, XYZ. So that's pretty cool that you bring that up because imposter syndrome is a huge problem for entrepreneurs, um, uh, um, starting or seasoned entrepreneurs, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So, number two, what is the one thing that most men get wrong about mental strength?
Most men get wrong about mental strength.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
I told you it's a hot seat, bro. This is
Uh,
I'm gonna burn you.
thinking that thinking that talking about mental health is related to weakness. Like you're weak if you talk about it. But at the very core of it, you being vulnerable is a
Is
strength.
is a strength, yeah. Because
Vulnerability
yeah,
is
I love that.
such a great thing to because number one, you not only build relationships like that,
I love that.
but you're creating connectedness with yourself and another human being. And at the very core of it, we just want to feel connected.
Oh, 100%, bro.
So
100%. I mean, think about it. Like the people that don't want to admit that, mental awareness, uh, what's it called? Mental awareness is an issue, are the same people in that group that are like, oh well, these people are just pussies for feeling. They want to feel connected.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So number three, what's the hardest thing about helping others while fighting your own battles?
that's a good question.
Yeah, that was deep, right? You got a little dig a little deep on that one.
Sometimes you got to put on not a mask per se, but if I'm, and this has happened on multiple occasions where maybe me and my wife just had an argument
Mm-hmm.
and I got to go into work right now
Oh,
and I got to go into a session.
mm-hmm.
Um, everybody in relationships understands that,
Yeah.
boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, they've had arguments, but
Mm-hmm.
having it prior to going into like a one-on-one session when you're about to dig into someone's, personal
Mm.
experience, you have to be able to sideline that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to be able to put on not a mask, but
Mm-hmm.
you have to compartmentalize that, and that's very difficult.
Yeah.
And
Very
I've had to learn
difficult.
how to do that. Learn how to compartmentalize what I am dealing with to be like, hey, what's going on, dog? How are you today? And it's not that I'm being inauthentic. I am being authentic because that's how Gabe shows up every single day when I'm in session.
Mhm.
It's I have to literally have to
Yeah. No.
compartmentalize it and then go back to
Well,
dealing with it after.
Well, it's one of those things where you don't want that issue to pop up in that moment because one, it's not that other person's fault to why you're going through what you're going through, and to compartmentalize what you're saying and your issues. I guess one thing that I know now is when I get here and with my client, I put all my issues in that bag. I leave it outside mentally. I guess you can say
Yeah,
that's how
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
picturing my,
Yeah.
you know.
That's a good way to put it.
That's how I'm thinking about it. Is I put all my whatever I'm going through, whatever argument I have with my lady, putting that in the bag. I'm leaving it outside. When on my way out, I'm picking that bitch up, and I'm gonna open it up and I'm gonna deal with it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. That's a
you
good
know.
way.
So, what's failure or dark moment that ended up teaching you the most?
I wouldn't say that it's failure. I would say it was a very tough time in my career, but I'll say this. When I started working with the army for the
Mm-hmm.
like it was early on in my career,
Mm-hmm.
I realized how much I didn't practice my own skills that I was teaching. And I didn't know that I had
Mm-hmm.
really, really bad performance anxiety myself when it came to public speaking. I couldn't even sit in front of three people before joined being join the service that I'm in,
Mm-hmm.
being a mental performance specialist with the Army or doing that with the Army. I couldn't even sit in front of three people and actually talk
Oh
about
wow.
mental skills. I had such bad performance anxiety being in front of crowds. That was a very, very challenging thing for myself. And how did I do that? I started to dig down and start applying to the skills that I was learning to my actual workload.
Mm-hmm.
When I started with the job working with the United States Army, you had to go through this cohort and teach their curriculum to my colleagues in order for them to show that you had competency in the skills that you were
Oh
teaching
wow.
and go out and teach that to the soldiers. I actually almost got fired
Damn.
because I didn't provide competency in the
Feel that.
skills because I had such bad performance anxiety.
Um,
So every single day, and I wouldn't say it's failure, but it was a learned situation where I came out of where I was almost fired from my position. I actually dug down and I was like, how do I get better?
how do I get better? Yeah.
And it was me really applying the mental skills that I was teaching, but also getting a hold of my mentors that were literally, I was staying after 3-4 hours after work and being like, I need you to teach me how to be in this position and speak correct, like not speak correct, speak more fluidly, speak more effectively,
Mm-hmm.
to my audience, so that I did not feel as though I was blacking out,
Blacking out.
like drowning in my own
And your own, yeah,
BS.
your own bit.
And that was hard. That was a
Hey, barber fam, I really hope you're enjoying this conversation as much as I am. But real quick, if you're a barber struggling to get new clientele online or struggling to shoot content, the whole thing just feels like guesswork to you. There's literally no need to guess anymore. I built my own school platform where I show you exactly how to shoot content, what angles work, and how to study other people's content. That way you're not doing the guesswork anymore. So if you're done struggling, feeling stuck, click the link in the description down below and let's grow together. Back to the conversation.
no, yeah, you are
Yeah,
hold all hats.
yeah, dude, I'm trying to figure out that that's recording, this is recording, making sure the levels are good on that, and making sure the mics don't die. It's like a whole thing. But yeah, dude, that's really a lot of what I'm talking about. A lot of people don't see that, you know. I mean, shit, it took me a while to get comfortable in front of the camera. Like if you were to go back to episode 1 to episode 31, it's a whole different Pac.
Oh, sure.
You know, so I'm right there with you. You really have to own up to, you know what, I suck at this. I'm gonna fucking get better at it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We all suck at some point, you know. But that's cool that you actually were able to live up to that, and here you are now, right?
Yeah.
My skills coach. So what is one message you'd give to every man listening right now?
The biggest message that I would give to everyone listening right now is three things. Number one, get clear on your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
That is a big driver to where you will go. Get clear on your mission or your mission statement, like that statement that's driving what your purpose is.
Mm-hmm.
And then get clear on your values, because those are going to guide your actions every single day to live up to your purpose and get to what your overall goal is. That's the biggest thing.
That's awesome because clarity will always beat clout, in my opinion. Um, because that's what this whole thing's about. It's not about money, titles, clout, whatever. It's about mastering your mind and learning what it is you're trying to serve people with.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I essentially what I came down to too is I'm serving people.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
service related business.
how can I show up better for my podcast? How can I show up better for my clients? That's my thing now, so that's pretty cool that you said that because I'm definitely, I want to get clearer on that. But yeah, man, this was definitely a great conversation, definitely a lot longer than we thought. I really want to ask this, like, what is the biggest takeaway that you got from all this?
The biggest takeaway from today's session is mental skills are not specific to one population.
Nope. I agree.
It is specific to entrepreneurship and specifically barbers. It's specific to life in general, and it's a proactive measure. You can, if you're listening to this and you're a first responder, if you're a barber, whoever you are, you can take skills, mental skills, and apply them to your life, whether that be mindset, focus, self-talk, whatever it is, visualization, meditation. These things can be used to level you up in whatever you're going after.
I love that.
That's the biggest thing.
I love that. Yeah. So this is the close. It was finally. I in my head, I'm like, okay, if I don't ask you now, I'm probably not gonna see you again. It's probably January. So, luckily you were able to do the podcast today, which I truly appreciate you coming back. So if you guys got value from this, go follow him on TikTok. I'll for sure tag him all his stuff on the description down below. He is bringing real value to men's mental health, and if you want to reach out to him to get coaching by him, please reach out. So, and if you're a barber or creator out there that's ready to master your mindset, tap into Build for More. And I am Barber Paco, and I'll see you guys on the next one.